do you feel heard as young Gen Zs?
I don't need to feel heard by the president. Okay. I need the president.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to, should I call it afternoon section? Welcome to afternoon section of Honor Politics. With that being told, just know we are back at it again, and we are still in Kenya. People versus the government. Kenya, Gen Z and Millennials are saying Ruto must jack, Ruto must go, Ruto must jack, whatever phrase you want to use to capture that, it is what it is. Are they going to succeed? What does it mean? So the people and their government across the continent. What does it really mean? The people and their government across the continent. This is what this section is all about. Let's go to Kenya and hear a little bit from what the young Kenyans are saying.
Listening, do you feel heard as young Gen Zs?
I don't need to feel heard by the president. Okay. I need the president and government in general to do what it was appointed to do. We did not appoint them to listen. We would have selected them to be podcasters if we wanted a listening ear. A broad-based government is a word salad by the president to try and obfuscate the truth of what it is that they're doing. There's a sinister nature to the political class where he has said that he will consult widely and he will consult both in public and in private. And the president has shown an affinity to love to consult the clergy and the political class in public, but consult the youth in private. That is why the youth end up in cells, they end up showing up in swamps, dead. And I say this without fear of contradiction because I have not seen at any particular point the president make a deliberate effort to listen to the youth. And I say this because in the protests and demonstrations that we have led and orchestrated, the people the president has invited to the table has consistently been the clergy. It has been the political class. And that shows me that they are just trying to find ways in which to divide us. They have consistently infantilized this movement. That is why they insist on tagging it the Gen Z revolution. While this is a Kenyan exercise, that's why they've insisted to call us our children. They've insisted to go the route of appealing to us from a parental angle, refusing to acknowledge the fact that this is a political undertaking that we are doing. The president is not elected to listen to us. He is elected to lead a functional government, which he has proven that he is not interested in running. Because, be it as it may that he has dissolved his cabinet, there are several cases on graft and other gross violations of the Constitution that the people in the dissolved positions are getting away with. There are several demands that we have asked for that are going to get away. There is a list, for example, for former CS Ababu Namwamba that we were asking, what is a delegation that is going to Paris? And that is the same. The person who's coming in next will have to account for it, because we have decided that we will hold this particular government accountable.
Yeah.
So we did not, it is not a matter of listening, it is a matter of good governance.
Yeah.
And there we do not, I personally do not have such great faith in the current ruling class and by extension, the president.
But he had an X space with the Kenyans.
Under what circumstances?
And also he's called for a multi-sectoral forum starting next week from Monday to Saturday.
The X space was a knee-jerk reaction after we lost several lives. No life can be equated, no building is almost as valuable as a human life. We had blood split on Parliament grounds. We had brain cells floating on the tarmac. That's only when that he would come to the X space. And I think the X space was also a very disrespectful move, in the sense that if you say that you're going to appear at a place at 2 p.m. as a president who has all the money, all the technology, all the intelligence at your disposal, and try to posture. And I think it was a very deliberate psychological move where the president was posturing an old, amiable figure that I do not know how to use this technology. And you would see how shaky the camera was, the angling. I do not think that the president was doing this from a point of honesty. He came to the X space, and the X space, he was supposed to join as a listener. He does not summon us, because what we do on the X spaces, they are our barazas. It is not, and we claim we're leaderless. We truly are leaderless. When you come as a president, now we have to play respectability politics. When he says that he will hold multi-sectoral discussions starting next week, he has consistently shown that he is not interested in the voice of the masses. And I say this in confidence that the youth is the majority of the population of the country. He has not shown goodwill, because when we say that we want to demonstrate peacefully, when we say that we want the war on graft to be cracked, he does not honor those. We have proven time without number that we can be peaceful, but the directives that the policemen have seem to be very contrarian to the kind of nature of the youth that we have in the country. Okay. So as much as it might seem that he is making steps, he is making baby steps in the wrong direction. If you zoom it out and look at it objectively, the president, I insist, is making these moves out of self-preservation and not the goodwill of the country.
Okay.
Wala deal, wala, according to Portable. My God, this guy, now him, kudos to him, but speaking from the angle he's speaking from, these guys are ready. This is not an impromptu revolution or whatever you want to target. This is not an impromptu. It shows that there's a deliberately, time that was dedicated to this, a lot of work put into play. Because if you listen carefully, whatever they are asking for are very thorough. When he was asked if the president is giving them a lesson here, the guy said no, because of what he then election for the us. The next time we be listening here, they will go for podcast, and that's a fact. Do your job. And it speaks a lot about our own space, the way we respect and treat and carry our leaders. It's just ridiculous, right? But most importantly, he articulated. We will still continue, because this is just this guy. This is just the first part one. The other two episodes that is full, but not necessarily it's about his eloquency and all that. But the fact that whatever that the guy they are asking for, it is not something they just wake up to. They understand the entity of everything they are asking. So even when they are asking the president to go, they also understand the implication. And as time goes on, you got to understand that these guys, not that they take their time to actually orchestrate whatever they are doing, but most importantly, they say they have time to continue to wait until things are done right. So it is crazy. It's something very admirable, it's courageous, and I don't think whatever that is going on in Kenya is going to stop in Kenya. I refuse to believe it's going to stop in Kenya. I'm not saying it's going to spread like the Arab Spring. But I agree. But these people are ready. They are freaking ready. Let's go further and listen to man, all the guests here are very, very fantastic guests, man. These guys. I mean. But let's look at this. Let's look at this.
But the message changed, the same thing.
Okay.
Mr. President cut down on the number of governors. I don't know, there's a lawyer here, you should tell us, before the end of your term.
That will require a referendum.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. But also, legislators, there's something that's coming your way, Jerry, and you cannot run away from this. The vetting of all these CSS comes through you. In fact, John Mbadi said it straight up. Listen to what John had to say.
This cabinet in totality, I have my fears. We are approving, if we do approve, we are approving a cabinet that is not so competent. We are approving a cabinet that I think the mindset of the appointing authority was not on service delivery. This is not a cabinet that is going to bring economic revolution in this country. We have a choice to make either decision to reject over 60% of these names or give President Ruto his skunk. Let us not interfere with it. We give it to him. He has asked for it. Let us give him his cabinet. We know he's going to run the government from State House. These are not people who can run a government. Apart from a few individuals who are not even more than 8, the rest are incompetent, unqualified, have integrity issues, are people who cannot deliver this country from where it is to the next level that we want the country to move in. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will oppose most of the names.
Your time is up.
You guys.
That no be Abuja and Nairobi, Kenya. It'll be like Abuja, because we really move better ministers. Maybe bad and go, bad and go, bad and go. But guess what? Oh man, who do us like this? These are things that we see that we come to accept in Nigeria as normal. A normal thing when the minister is just taking a bow and doing nothing. But there's no consequence for anything.
Guys already knew this was not the right set of people for Kenya, but you still approved all of them.
Thank you, Trevor. And Eric has adversely mentioned
the woman reposition where you sit.
And he said that I do a very good job, but now he wants me to be jobless. And let me say this, Trevor, and just bring it to the attention of Kenyans and even Eric. As a young person in the National Assembly, I was actually the only youth who voted no in regard to the finance bill, because I believe in transformative leadership and leadership that is people-centric. So we have had these conversations about trimming down government. When we introduced devolution in the 2010 Constitution, I remember having concerns and conversations about whether we had the capacity to expand the wage bill and have the burden on the Kenyan taxpayer. And I have always held the thought that we really devolved corruption. We did not devolve service delivery to the people, because true leadership must be centered around the basic needs of the populace. And for me, like I had said, is that Parliament is going to be on the radar. And unfortunately, I sit in only 2 committees, the NGCDF committee and the JLAC committee. And I did not have the prerogative of vetting any cabinet secretary. And I voiced my concerns in regard to vetting of one of the CS.
We're going to change the fortunes of people and Kenyans
which is your role. Okay,
yes.
Let me bring in Kasmul on this. And I started with the legislators so that they explain to you their thinking perspective. Do you as young people now have confidence in Parliament? And also, what is the ultimate target of this entire thing? Because there were certain things that you asked for And there's been some concessions. Reject finance bill, it's been rejected. Reshuffle your cabinet. In fact, you wanted it to be disbanded, it's been disbanded. So what is the ultimate goal at the end of it all? And do you have confidence in Parliament? You've heard how they've spoken.
I think what the political class does not understand clearly is when we say Ruto must go, it includes all facets. It is his entire government. And that includes the alleged opposition. And once this is clear, we do not depend on Parliament to make these right decisions. And I say this because Parliament time without number has proven to be inefficient when it comes to representing us. It has gotten to this point where now they have this sudden awakening as a collective after we have gone to the streets, after we have lost lives. So we have realized that we, the people of Kenya, can orchestrate these changes. From where I sit and from where a lot of the youth sit, this parliament is unconstitutional. It is not an impossibility that we could just decide to overhaul this whole thing and do this thing right. Because we cannot have a minority claiming that they are making the right decisions and try to make it look like it's a majority problem. What they should have done is come to us. The way they form all these pressers when they have political disagreements, they should have blown the whistle at that particular point. That is why we are saying we do not have faith in the political class. The thing which people do not understand, and the thing that pains me the most, is the fact that this is a genocide problem. And forgive me for using such a strong word, but corruption is tantamount to genocide. Because when you loot funds that are supposed to take to be for farmers or for the education of a child or for Linda Mama, you are effectively ensuring that there's a child who will not make it into life. There's a child we will lose to hunger. There's a youth who will be lost to theft. The political class needs to stop politicking and start doing representation, because it does not matter if it is anything to do with good governance clips, or as an influencer, as a content creator, we do that for free. There's nothing special about saying that we've seen this person as incompetent, because as the general populace, we know it is incompetent. As a country that is heavily dependent on our agrarian sector, I do not understand how, one, we cannot share seeds. Because remember, as Africans, we are very heavily united. It is about umoja na ubuntu. We cannot have fake fertilizer scandals and all these people go scot-free. So the political class needs to, this is their wake-up call. From where we sit, we have said, as unemployed Gen Zs, we have decided to make this our form of meaningful and gainful employment, because we've realized for far too long, these people have sat, looted the public coffers, moved around in big cars, having airtime allowances that are greater than the basic salary of secondary school teachers, spewing all sorts of vitriol against us, refusing to post interns. IDs cost however much they cost. Part of the things they should be agitating for is the IDs to be restored to, but we need to be paying 100 shillings for getting these IDs. Certificates of good conduct need to be available. This NGCDF thing that people are consistently giving to constituencies, remove that burden, because that's what they think they're doing us a favor by giving us a check of 10,000 shillings for school fees. Return it to national government. The amount of money they loot, you can make education free. We do not need thought leaders. We do not need subcommittees for this to run efficiently. What we are asking is for this government to run efficiently. And if they continue politicking, we will continue to agitate until all these things are addressed.
Yeah, but Kasmal, have you envisioned what Ruto must go looks like?
Yes.
So what is that?
When we say Ruto must go and we're saying that we are overhauling an entire government, I do not know why the older generation is threatened. Because if we go into another election, it is going to be cheaper than the amount of money we lose in 1 year in corruption. It is going to be cheaper than the 1 trillion in public debt that has not surfaced in our books. It is going to be cheaper than the amount of money that we've lost in unconstitutional services. It is very easily fundable. We are not devoid of good leaders in the country.
But our constitution says this is done in 5-year cycles. Like the next one is in 2027.
Yes.
And if you say now we need to go into election as we speak,
right,
our IEBC has not been constituted.
It will be. But it will be constituted. And that's why we are saying we are not in a hurry. We do not want this to be changed next week. We have the time. But what we are saying is we will not let them off easily. the thing which people are trying to make it look like is as if we're calling for anarchy. You'll realize that we are very clear in our demands, we are very clear in our policies, and the concessions that the political class are making, those are concessions that are trying to just put salve on a much deeper wound. When this thing, there will be no destabilization. We are not pushing for anarchy or destabilization of the country. So even if these things are done in 5-year cycles, we have said we cannot wait for another 5-year cycle losing 600 billion in a year. It is not normal. Abnormal behavior during abnormal times is normal behavior. So if we have to go into an election for the political class to arise and awaken from their slumber, then so be it. We will go into another election cycle.
Okay, Eric.
Normal behavior during abnormal time is a normal behavior. God damn. The fuck did you arrive at that shit? Abnormal behavior during abnormal time is a normal freaking behavior. Holy crap. That's all. Like, somebody should tell me that this guy is not articulating Nigerian problem to the exact point. Everything he said, take him out, take the where in day out. That's Nigeria. I was later the political elite as a very corny. The way they live at our expense, behaving as if they are not, they are animals. Just I don't understand. But what baffles me more is that we just seems to take it as just normal. Like a normal thing. We're all waiting for our turn to get there and support that standard. My God. I this time this one will be hope or praise. I'm pretty sure whatever that is going on in Kenya, that shit ain't gonna happen in Kenya. It's not gonna stop in Kenya. It's gonna spread.
Parliament, you have taken this war to Parliament doorsteps several times. I've also seen you getting arrested right outside Parliament.
5 times.
What now needs to be done? Is that where the problem sits?
Trevor, today I'm a very happy man. If you've noticed, I've not even attacked the president even once, because I take my gains, I celebrate them, and then I move.
My guy is still
In every possible.
Seeing a return of extrajudicial killings and kidnappings, the temptation we must resist. Seeing a return of extrajudicial killings and kidnappings, the temptation we must resist.
Okay, 1 minute, Kaswa.
Corruption is tantamount to genocide. I stick by these words because we are currently not only being killed in every possible aspect, but our future is being robbed of us. We asked the president that if he's truly interested in forging a better country for all of us, he should make the reforms that really matter. The families of the comrades we lost must be recognized by the state and compensated. The police who shot at innocent protesters must be brought to book. It defeats me that you can find footage of people who are in parliament, but you cannot, with sufficient evidence, you cannot arrest the killer cops. We ask that this government acts in goodwill and not in political preservation. And if you do not, we are here to remind you that we will be there no matter what. And even if you silence our voices, more vibrant, more vivacious, more intelligent and eloquent people and leaders are going to arise from this movement. Do the right thing.
All right, Essie?
Trevor, I'm looking forward to more youthful, competent faces in case of the changes that we are looking forward to. And then acceptance is a virtue all leaders should emulate. By the president accepting to some of the issues we've been raising, paints a brand new start. And when
Kenyans are showing us the way, they are showing the leadership how things is done. And I keep saying it. Now, who organize? Now, they get things done. And from the way you see this young man spoke, you know that they've been there, they've been organizing. Maybe they just wake up. And this is not going to end like that.
In the right direction, I want to appreciate that he has prioritized Mwananchi interests, what we have actually been saying over and now again. and he's addressing the elephant in the room, public debt, which every other person is running away from.
All right. Richard.
Thank you, Trevor. The Kenya Kwanza government and the people of Kenya, we live in a constitutional democracy. So both of you are right in what you are affirming, but wrong in what you are denying. For instance, the government of the day is affirming that we live in a constitutional democracy where rule of law should apply, but they are denying that there are elements in how they exercise the people power, for example, extrajudicial killing and abductions, that does not conform to constitutional democracy and rule of law. So we call for that honesty. The people on the other hand as well, in as much as they're affirming they have a right to picket, demonstrate and exercise their sovereign power, they are denying the fact that actually in this exercise, that power can be limited to the extent that it does not destroy property and threaten national security. So I think it's important that we understand we are in a golden moment in the development of our democracy as a country. And so the president and the people or the government of the day should decide whether to take us to anarchy or give us a new Kenya where there are issues, freedom, transparency, and accountability.
Amisi?
Yeah, thank you, Trevor, and thank you for having us for this. I think you could be calling us more often so that we delve into issues that affect our nation as young people. I think, Trevor, every generation has had a chance to rise up and do what needed to be done. We have a generation that fought for independence, we achieved. We have a generation that fought for multipartyism, we achieved. We have a generation that fought for devolution and the new constitution. This is now the fourth generation that must fight for economic emancipation, economic renaissance. So the Gen Z must not relent. They have the energy, the charisma, they are innovative, they are techno-savvy, they are charismatic, they have all that it takes to have this economic renaissance happen in this country in our lifetime.
Okay. Eric.
Millennials and Gen Zs form 71% currently of Kenyans. Our only insurance, all said and done, we may discuss here today and tomorrow, but our only insurance is make sure uko na kitambulisho, ID, na uchukue kura. Things are changing. So things might happen, things might not happen, but our only insurance is the national ID and a voting card.
Okay.
May the Mr. President please release all political prisoners.
Unconditional.
All of them. And then also compensate every family that lost a member. And please pay the bills of the people in hospitals. Because at least saizi hiyo pesa ya CSSA month inazaenda huko.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making time this morning. Honorable Kaliba Mrs. Saboti, Member of Parliament. Honorable Jerry Maina, Woman Rep Kirinyaga. Honorable Esio Kinyuri, Nominated Senator. Eric Omundi, Youth Activist. Kasmuel Makoure, Youth Activist. And Richard Keno, a lawyer. Thank you all for having this great conversation with us. And thank you for sending in your feedback. It's time for us to take a break. When we come back, Ben Sue and DJ Gigi are back here on the decks. They're looking at me badly because of